Alright guys, in today's video we're going to go over my top 5 UMXs and why I chose them. For number 5, we got the UMX Night Vapor. It's a really fun plane to fly, but it's also the most fragile plane I've ever had, and it's broken more times than any other plane. And it also needs perfectly still conditions, which luckily we have right now, so we're going to fly it. I've actually had to 3D print multiple parts for this as it keeps breaking, which is rather annoying. But that is the downside of being so lightweight. Alright, we're going to bring this thing back up. I feel like we've covered it enough. It flies really slow. That's pretty much its only upside. And you can fly it indoors, which I do often. Whoa. Alright. On to the next plane. Next up, we got the UMX Radian. Unfortunately, the wind has picked up dramatically in the last 5 minutes since I flew the Night Vapor, but this thing can handle a little bit of wind. The reason this plane isn't higher on the list is because there's only so much you can do without ailerons. It's a pretty decent plane and it flies well, but without ailerons there's not much you can do. Somehow it does fly inverted really well, which I'll try to demonstrate in this wind. There we go. So I'm not sure how it does that without ailerons, but it does it, and it does it well, so I'm not complaining. It does have a really good elevator authority, so you can do some tight loops, but other than that, it's not very maneuverable. And of course, it has a great glide slope because it's a glider and really lightweight since it only runs on 1S and has no aileron servos. But yeah, it's pretty much just a glider and nothing else. And it's fun to fly, but I mostly use it to test the wind conditions before I fly something expensive. Next up, we got the UMX Pitts, which unfortunately has seen better days, so I'm not gonna fly it today. Alright guys, in my opinion, the second best UMX that I've had is the Turbo Timber. And this is going to be a bit sketchy because it does not fly like it used to, but here we go. I think it's cool that this thing has flaps, but it doesn't really need them, and they just add extra weight and make it harder to fly. Like, they don't make anything about it better. It does have plenty of power, much more than the version 1, because now it can fly on 3S. Which is neat, and I'm surprised it's not breaking up right now because it modified it a lot, and it doesn't fly as well, and it's not as strong as it was. Stock, it flies super well in every way. It has good roll rate, good elevator throw, and good rudder throw as well. But the rudder joint is really weak, and it will break very easily if you get your tail wheel caught in anything during landing, including grass. So I actually have had to redo the rudder hinge multiple times, which makes it tail heavy, and that's one of the reasons it doesn't fly as well as it used to. But overall, it's a really great plane, and I don't have many complaints about it, or I have some complaints, but none of them are very major. Also, I've noticed sometimes the elevator servo gets stuck in the highest position, but an easy remedy to that is just to limit the throw, which means you can't do as tight of loops anymore, but it doesn't get stuck. And oh, that would also explain some things. The battery is moved all the way back now. It's over everything. So that's why it was acting so tail heavy, especially towards the end of the flight. And our chicken escaped. Hi, Nutmeg. Finally, you guys probably know this, but my favorite UMX is the Crescendo. It's really neat that it has these flaperons slash spoilerons and it has really good throw and everything, especially once you get that gyro off. And it can handle wind really well too. It can lift a ton of weight. It's lifted a 30-gram camera on the side of the wing like this, clipped on, and it actually flew really well even with that. So let's get her up. Yeah, this is probably one of my fastest UMXs. This is probably the fastest UMX I have, actually. I've clocked it at 56 miles an hour. It really gets going, especially on that 3S battery. This thing is pretty great all around. I have really no complaints about this thing. I've only crashed it once and it wasn't a bad crash, and it's still intact. I have had a couple hard hand catches that have damaged the wing slightly, but nothing worth mentioning, although I guess I just did. And it's just really fun, really powerful, and not that expensive of a plane, and you can just fly it pretty much anywhere. The Radian has 2 screws to hold it in place, but this just has a clip, which is really useful. Also, if you fly it on the 2S battery, I've gotten flight times of over 30 minutes, which is insane. We're gonna hit those flapperons and just bring her. Those are the spoilerons. Well, either way, it doesn't care. It lands great, flies great. You can land on snow, grass, trees, pretty much anything except for water, because that'll damage it. And now the chicken's on the hot tub, in case you're wondering. If you like this video, don't be afraid to subscribe. I'm going to continue posting every Saturday at 5 a.m. For the foreseeable future. And I also post a few shorts per week. So if you're at all interested in RC, do me a favor and subscribe.